the death of the man. They once knew everything you believe about morality and goodness was engineered to keep you obedient. The truth? The world was never designed to reward the good. It was designed to consume them. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. If this statement makes you uncomfortable, good, because comfort is the drug that keeps men weak. And if you're watching this, it means something inside you is already screaming that weakness is no longer an option. Niccolo Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." For centuries, people dismissed this as cruelty, but it was not cruelty, it was clarity. He was telling us the truth that polite society hides. Love is fickle, but fear and respect endure. Now ask yourself, when people see you, do they respect you? Do they hesitate before speaking, unsure of how far they can push? Or do they laugh behind your back, certain that you're harmless? If you know the answer, then you also know why you're here. Because in the next 21 days, the man you were will die. This is not advice. This is not motivation. This is war. And if you follow through, the world will never look at you the same again. The mask they forced on you, society, gives every man a mask at birth. Be polite, be agreeable, be dependable. Don't make waves. They tell you this is goodness, but it's not goodness, it's obedience. And obedience is death. The man you are today is not the real you. He is a mask stitched together by teachers, bosses, family and friends who wanted you predictable, controllable, harmless. And as long as you wear that mask, you will live in chains. But here's the secret Machiavelli knew. Identity is not fixed. It is not sacred. It is a tool. And when a tool no longer serves you, you throw it into the fire. Your first step in this 21-day transformation is brutal but necessary. Psychological assassination of the man they once knew. Death as rebirth. People fear death because they misunderstand it. Death is not the end, it is the beginning. The snake sheds its skin or it dies. The warrior sharpens his blade or it rusts. The ruler severs ties or he collapses under hesitation. You are no different. The you who craves validation must die. The you who fears rejection must die. The you who bends for approval must die. Every weakness must be cut out, like diseased flesh, until nothing remains but steel. This is not symbolic. This is literal. Every day of these 21 days, you will kill a piece of the old self, a habit, an excuse, a dependency. Death by 1,000 cuts, until there is nothing left for the world to recognize. The first weapon, silence. You want to know the quickest way to make people respect you? Withdraw your words. Weak men vomit explanations. They defend themselves. They justify every move. But power speaks in silence. From this day forward, your silence is your weapon. Speak less. Pause longer. Let your words weigh like iron. And when they demand to know what's on your mind, give them nothing. Because the moment they can no longer read you, you own them. Machiavelli understood this. Men judge more by what they see than by what they feel. If they see unpredictability, if they feel uncertainty, they will tread carefully. And in that carefulness, your power is born. The shock of transformation. When you begin this process, people will resist. Friends will whisper, "He's changed." Family will ask, "Why are you so cold?" Co-workers will gossip, "He's not the same." Good. Every whisper is confirmation that you are killing the old self. Every complaint is proof that the transformation is working. The more they feel unsettled, the closer you are to power. Do not explain, do not reassure. Let them drown in their own discomfort, because their discomfort is your evolution. The battlefield of identity. From now on, every interaction is a test. Every conversation is practice. Every silence is a blade. Walk into a room and carry yourself as though you belong everywhere. Say less and force them to lean into your words. Harden your tone. Slow your movements. Stop rushing to fill the air. The old you chased approval. The new you commands presence, and presence is not announced, it is felt. Your first declaration. Write this phrase now, not for me, but for yourself. I bury the man they once knew, because the moment you declare it, the funeral begins. And every funeral is followed by rebirth. This is the first step of your transformation. Not a motivational slogan, not a vague idea, but a death sentence for the weakness that has chained you for years. From today forward, you are no longer who they think you are. You are who you decide to be. And for the next 21 days, you will forge yourself into someone unrecognizable, feared, respected, untouchable. This is how the game begins. The discipline of disappearance. If people can always reach you, they own you. If they can always predict you, they control you. If you are always available, you are already defeated. The second stage of becoming unrecognizable is one most men will never dare attempt: disappearance. Not the disappearance of your body, but the disappearance of your patterns, the vanishing of your predictability, the silence that unsettles everyone who thought they knew you. Why? Constant presence equals weakness. Modern life trains you to be accessible at all times. Answer the text, pick up the call, show up when summoned, smile when expected. The obedient dog always wags his tail, but Machiavelli knew a brutal truth. Men value what they fear losing. If your presence is guaranteed, no one values it. If your attention is free, it becomes worthless. You must reverse this. You must become rare. Scarcity creates value, and distance creates power. The terror of uncertainty. Humans crave certainty like a drug. They want to know where you are, what you're thinking, what you'll do next. Certainty makes them feel safe. Take that certainty away, and you create fear, confusion, fascination. They will begin to whisper, "Why is he quieter? Why doesn't he reply? What is he planning?" Good. Their guessing is your weapon. Their unease is your leverage. Fog, not vanishing disappearance, does not mean you vanish completely. If you disappear too far, they forget you. The goal is not invisibility, it is fog. You are seen, but not clear, present, but unreachable. You leave fragments, never the full picture. You give signals, but never explanations. Think of it like war strategy. When Hannibal crossed the Alps to strike Rome, uncertainty was his greatest ally. His enemies never knew when or where he would appear. That unpredictability became terror. You must create the same effect in your life. The new rules of presence. For the next 21 days, every moment of withdrawal will sharpen your edge. Withdraw from noise. Step back from pointless conversations, gossip, distractions. Refuse to explain. When people ask, "Where have you been?" give them nothing. Delay your responses. The pause itself creates weight. Limit your access. Stop being a slave to notifications, to social gatherings, to everyone's demands. Every time you deny them access, you increase your value. Every time you create space, you amplify your presence. The power of silence. Silence is not emptiness, it is gravity. When you do not answer immediately, people wonder. When you do not show up everywhere, people notice. When you speak less, your words grow heavier. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must learn how not to be good, and to use this knowledge as necessity requires." Refusing constant access is one of those moments. It is not nice. It is not polite. It is necessary, because without silence, you will forever be noise. Withdrawal as a weapon. People will not like your disappearance. They will accuse you of arrogance. They will call you distant. They will say you've changed. Perfect. Every complaint is proof that the old you is dying. Every accusation is confirmation that your transformation is working. When they can no longer predict you, they no longer control you. When they no longer control you, they begin to fear losing you. And fear, Machiavelli reminds us, is stronger than love. The scarcity principle in action. Think of diamonds. They are not valuable because of what they do. They are valuable because they are rare. Scarcity breeds power. Your time, your presence, your energy must become diamonds. Rare, untouchable. Not scattered like cheap glass, but concentrated like steel. Once you understand this, you will see why weak men remain weak. They give themselves away too cheaply. They belong to everyone, and therefore, they belong to no one. You're training for this stage. Every day for the next 21 days, you must practice controlled disappearance. Skip at least one social ritual you normally attend. Delay your responses to messages. Cut one habit that leaks your attention. End one conversation earlier than expected, without explanation. These are not small acts. They are fractures in the prison walls of your old identity. Each fracture weakens the mask. Each silence hardens your new aura. The psychological shift. At first, you will feel guilt. That guilt is the leash of your old life tugging at your throat. Ignore it. The leash is breaking. Soon, you will feel something else. Freedom. The ability to choose when, where, and how you engage. The realization that your presence is yours to command, not theirs to demand. And with that realization comes the first taste of true power. Your second declaration, comment this phrase now: my silence is my weapon, my absence is my power. Because silence unsettles the weak, and absence teaches them your value. This is the second step of your transformation. You are no longer the man who is always available. You are no longer predictable. You are becoming rare. And rarity is the foundation of fear, respect, and power. The discipline of disappearance is not about retreat. It is about concentration. It is about sharpening your fire until it burns through the fog and leaves only one figure standing: you, unrecognizable, untouchable, the cold edge of power. The man who cannot control himself will never control anything else. Look around you. Most people are prisoners of their own impulses. They lash out in anger, beg in fear, overshare in excitement, collapse in sadness. Their emotions rule them, and because of that, they can be manipulated like puppets. If you want to become unrecognizable, if you want to ascend above the herd, you must forge the cold edge of power, the ability to stay unshaken when others are drowning in chaos, to calculate when others are crumbling, to decide when others are reacting. The weakness of predictability. Weak men think that emotion makes them authentic. They believe that shouting in anger shows strength, or crying in public shows depth. But in the game of power, predictability is suicide. If your enemies know you'll explode when provoked, they'll provoke you. If they know you'll beg when threatened, they'll threaten you. If they know you'll cling when loved, they'll withdraw love to make you chase. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. If you are ruled by emotion, you will always be ruled by someone else." Emotional control as a weapon. True power is not about killing emotion. It is about commanding it. Anger becomes a weapon when used deliberately, at the right time, in the right way. Love becomes a tool when given sparingly, never cheaply. Fear becomes leverage when directed outward, not inward. Your emotions are not your identity. They are instruments, and you are the conductor. Precision over passion. Imagine a chess player. His opponent slams pieces, mutters insults, rushes, moves, but he sits still, cold, calculating. Every piece he moves has purpose. Every pause increases tension. Every silence makes his opponent doubt. This is your model. You are no longer allowed to react impulsively. You must calculate. Every word must be deliberate. Every look must be weighted. Every move must serve a strategy. Stoicism meets Machiavellianism. Stoicism teaches you not to be ruled by emotion. Machiavellianism goes further. It teaches you to weaponize it. The Stoic shields himself from chaos. The Machiavellian uses chaos to control others. Together, they create a man who cannot be shaken but can shake the world. The power of coldness. People fear what they cannot read. If they cannot predict you, they cannot control you. If they cannot move you, they cannot manipulate you. Your coldness makes you untouchable. Coldness is not cruelty, it is precision. It is the ability to withhold when others overshare, to pause when others rush, to act when the outcome is guaranteed. Machiavelli warned, men should be either caressed or crushed because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, but of more serious ones they cannot. Translation: half measures are weakness. If you act, act fully. If you cut, cut clean. If you decide, decide without hesitation. Training the reflex. For the next 21 days, you must reprogram your instincts. When provoked, do not react. When tempted to defend yourself, stay silent. When someone demands an answer, delay. When you must act, act decisively, no half steps. At first, this will feel unnatural. The old self will itch to explain, to argue, to beg, kill him. Each act of restraint is a bullet in his coffin. Each silence is a step closer to becoming unreadable. The fear of the unreadable. The unreadable man terrifies. Why? Because humans crave emotional cues. They want to know, does he like me? Does he fear me? Will he bend? When you show nothing, they drown in uncertainty. Their imagination will inflate your power. They will project strength onto your silence, danger onto your calm. And projection is more powerful than reality. Nixon's madman theory. Consider Richard Nixon, who deliberately cultivated unpredictability. He wanted enemies to believe he was capable of anything, even nuclear war. This was the madman theory. It paralyzed opponents because uncertainty is paralysis. Your coldness works the same way. When no one knows what you feel, what you'll do, or how you'll react, they hesitate, and in hesitation, you dominate. The discipline of decisive action. Coldness does not mean endless waiting. It means deliberate timing. When the moment comes, you must act with total commitment. Do not argue endlessly. Do not punish lightly. Do not bluff. If you strike, strike in a way that removes doubt forever. That is how reputations are carved into stone. Your third declaration. Write this phrase now. I control my fire. I control my fate. Because the man who controls his fire can burn the world at will while remaining untouched by its flames. Becoming the predator. This is the third step of your transformation. You are no longer prey, reacting to the moves of others. You are predator, calculating, cold, deliberate. In 21 days, this mastery will make you unreadable. And the unreadable man is the most dangerous man alive. The power of psychological distance. The closer people feel to you, the more they believe they own you. And once they believe they own you, they stop respecting you. This is why most men are invisible. They hand over every thought, every emotion, every secret, until they are predictable, cheap, replaceable. But power does not come from being known. Power comes from being unreachable. If you want to become unrecognizable, you must master psychological distance, the art of being present but untouchable. The addiction to certainty. Humans crave certainty more than food, more than comfort, more than truth. They want to know where you stand. They want to know how you feel. They want to predict your next move. Certainty comforts them, but comfort destroys respect. Machiavelli warned, "He who builds on the people builds on mud." Why? Because the approval of others is unstable, temporary, worthless. If you give them certainty, you give them power. If you deny it, you control the frame. Fog, not walls. Distance does not mean running away. If you vanish completely, you are forgotten. The goal is not absence, it is fog. You must be seen but unclear, present but unreadable. A man in the room, yet never fully grasped. Speak less than you know. Drop fragments, never the full story. Leave sentences unfinished. Smile without explanation. Delay answers deliberately. This is how you create fog. And fog forces people to lean in, to guess, to project. The tyranny of mystery. Understand this. The unknown is more powerful than the known. People fear what they cannot read, respect what they cannot predict, and obsess over what they cannot possess. Mystery is tyranny. It enslaves the mind. It makes people chase shadows, and in chasing shadows, they hand you power. Dark psychology reveals a truth most never grasp. Reality is less important than perception. If you reveal little, they will imagine much. And their imagination will always exaggerate your strength. Distance in relationships. In relationships, psychological distance is the difference between being desired and being discarded. The man who texts too often, explains too much, gives too freely, he becomes ordinary, forgettable, replaceable. But the man who is scarce, unpredictable, unreadable, he becomes an obsession. Your absence becomes hunger. Your silence becomes fascination. Your restraint becomes value. Distance in power. In politics, in business, in war, the same law applies. Hannibal terrified Rome, not only with his victories, but with his unpredictability. They could never predict his next move, and that fear made him larger than life. The Rothschild banking dynasty built an empire not by revealing everything, but by concealing everything. Their secrecy created speculation. Their silence became legend. The lesson is eternal. What people don't know controls them more than what they do. Scarcity as strategy. Why are diamonds priceless? Not because they are useful, but because they are rare. Your time, your presence, your attention must become diamonds, scarce, untouchable. The less accessible you are, the more valuable you become. The less you reveal, the more powerful you appear. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Show them fragments, never the whole." That is how you become more than a man, you become a myth. Building the fortress. Within psychological distance is not cold avoidance, it is protection. It is the fortress of the mind. Inside that fortress, insults cannot wound you. Approval cannot enslave you. Gossip cannot define you. You stand in the fog, untouchable. Stoicism teaches detachment. Machiavelli teaches controlled detachment. Not retreat from the world, but command over it. You are not running, you are pulling the strings from behind the curtain. Training your distance. For the next 21 days, practice these disciplines. Resist explanation. When people demand answers, give them fragments. Withhold availability. Delay responses. Make them wait. Waiting is pressure. Control appearance. Be present less often, but more deliberately. Speak less. Every word must weigh like iron. Guard your time. Treat access to you as privilege, never obligation. Each act of restraint builds mystery. Each pause builds pressure. Each fragment builds the enigma. The paradox of distance. Here lies the paradox. The more you withdraw, the more they lean forward. The more you conceal, the more they obsess. The more you resist, the more they pursue. This is not cruelty, it is psychology. Humans chase what they cannot fully grasp. They respect what they cannot fully control. They fear what they cannot fully predict. And you will become all three. Your fourth declaration, write this phrase now. I am visible, but untouchable. I am present, but unreadable. Because the moment people cannot place you, they cannot control you. Becoming the enigma. This is the fourth step of your transformation. You are no longer predictable, no longer transparent, no longer chained to their approval. You have become the enigma, the man who is seen but not understood, the man who is close but never owned, the man they whisper about but never fully grasp. And an enigma is the most dangerous figure in the game of power, because an enigma cannot be controlled. Ascension to the untouchable, the greatest enemy, was never out there. It was always inside you, and now that enemy is dead. For 21 days you have cut away weakness. You have buried the old self, mastered disappearance, sharpened cold emotional control, and built psychological distance. Now comes the final stage, Ascension. This is where you stop becoming and you start ruling. What it means to be untouchable. Untouchable does not mean that no one will ever challenge you. It means that when they do, they cannot shake your foundation. It means you decide what touches you and what never gets past your walls. Machiavelli warned, "He who becomes the cause of another becoming powerful is ruined." Untouchable means you never hand over your power, not to fear, not to doubt, not to approval, not to love. You command yourself so completely that the world has no choice but to follow. The untouchable man does not beg to be liked. He does not plead to be understood. He does not wait for permission. He moves, and others adjust. The aura of command. By now, your aura has begun to form. Aura is not mystical. It is psychological warfare. It is the invisible signal that enters the room before you speak. When you pause longer than others can tolerate. When you hold silence until they stumble to fill it. When your words drop slow and heavy, like a hammer on steel. When your eyes stay calm while theirs flicker with insecurity. This is aura. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge more by their eyes than by their hands." Your aura is what they see, and once it hardens, it becomes armor. Aura is not arrogance. Arrogance shouts. Aura whispers and still terrifies. The man of aura never needs to announce himself. His silence announces him. The ghost of the old self. Do not be fooled. The ghost of your old identity will try to rise again. Laziness will whisper, "You've already done enough." Nostalgia will tempt you. "Remember who you were?" Weakness will beg, "Just once won't hurt." But Machiavelli warned, "He who conquers a city accustomed to freedom and does not destroy it will be destroyed by it." Translate this. If you leave fragments of your old self alive, they will grow. They will rebel. They will drag you back into mediocrity. Untouchable is not a one-time transformation. It is daily vigilance. The discipline of ascension. To remain untouchable, you must live differently. You no longer react. Reaction is slavery. You choose when and how to respond. You no longer explain. Explanations are chains. Silence is freedom. You no longer beg. Begging is beneath you. Command or walk away. You no longer hesitate. Hesitation kills. Strike or stay still, but never stutter. Every day, sharpen your discipline. Every day, kill weakness again. Every day, remind yourself that the old man is dead. How the world will see you now. At first, they will resist your transformation. They will whisper, complain, resent. But then, something shifts. In relationships, you become the chooser, not the chaser. Your distance creates desire. Your silence creates mystery. Your restraint creates value. You no longer cling to love. You allow it, but only when it strengthens you. In business, you become the strategist, not the pawn. Superiors sense your authority without you speaking it. Colleagues adjust to your pace. Competitors second-guess your silence. You are no longer a name on the list. You are the variable they cannot calculate. In life, you become the enigma. People watch you without knowing why. They lower their voices when you enter a room. They hesitate before crossing you. They lean forward when you finally speak. You are no longer invisible. You are unforgettable. Respect, born of fear. Do not misunderstand. This is not about cruelty. This is about command. The untouchable man does not need violence to be feared. His very aura unsettles. His very calm disarms. His very silence forces respect. Machiavelli said, It is much safer to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Now you understand. Love fades, fear endures, respect endures, mystery endures. You are no longer asking for respect. You are radiating it. The eternal practice. This journey does not end at 21 days. It only begins. Because weakness waits at every corner, ready to resurrect. You must remain ruthless, daily, relentless, untouchable. When others gossip, you stay silent. When others panic, you stay calm. When others cling, you stay distant. When others hesitate, you strike. This is ascension. This is practice. This is power. Your final declaration. Write this phrase now, not as a comment, but as a command to yourself. I ascend. I am untouchable. This is your final death blow to the man you once were. This is your coronation. The legacy of the untouchable. The old you is buried. The mask is gone. The leash is broken. What remains is steel. What remains is aura. What remains is a man they whisper about, but never control. You are no longer here to fit in. You are here to rise above. You are no longer here to be liked. You are here to be feared, respected, and remembered. And when they whisper, "He's changed, he's dangerous now," smile, because they are right. You are not the same. You are unrecognizable. You are untouchable.